exercises that we've done before or little tweaks on ones that are relatively new. So the first one that we're going to start with is our kettlebell swing. So before you panic if you don't have a kettlebell, I want to show you both the kettlebell swing and reminders on the kettlebell swing, as well as what you can do if you don't have a kettlebell. So I got a 30-pounder, lucky me. So a couple of notes on our kettlebell swing if it's been a while for you. Remember that the swing comes from the hips. You will have a slight amount of bend in your knees, but for the most part, the swing comes from hinging at the hips. So the back line doesn't change. For the most part, the legs don't change. And it's all driven by squeezing the glutes and popping the hips forward. It's where your power is going to come from. As you get higher and more powerful, the arms are going to be allowed to just float up on their own. You should not feel like you're using your shoulders much at the top of this lift. So our kettlebell lift with a nice straight back should start from the top. I drop my hips back. It allows the kettlebell to drop back behind my heels a little bit. And then I use the power of my glutes to drive it forward. So it drops back, pop my hips forward. So one of the most common mistakes I see on these is that we stop, we allow the hips to just keep swinging forward. So if I never stop my hips and lock them into place, the arms are not going to float up on their own. They're going to get stuck with the height of my hips. This position, not great on the low back, and it's an overextension of our hip flexors. Two things we don't want to practice. So make sure, as you get to open hips right here, with the glutes locked, that the abdominals are also locked. If your abdominals are locked, you cannot go forward from this position. The momentum will swing the arms up on their own. Then they'll drop back down when they're ready. So again, as you swing forward, abdominals and glutes lock into place, and that kettlebell just continues driving on its own. If that doesn't make sense to you, or you do it in the mirror and it doesn't look right, send me a video and let me look at it, and I'll get back to you. So if you don't have a kettlebell and you try to swing a 12-pound weight or a 10-pound weight, it's going to feel like you're doing absolutely nothing. So I want to talk about combining your dumbbells. So we combined our dumbbells when we were doing our overhead lat pullover with the stability ball earlier in the week. We're going to do the same kind of thing with our dumbbells. So you got two options. You can either smash them together and allow them to swing like that, or you can crisscross them and then try to take both hands underneath. So I'm holding them both in one hand and the other hand just goes underneath, kind of like a basket. I feel like it's easier to hold on to them like this. However, if you don't have super long legs, what happens if it's not wide enough is that you run into your legs. So you may have to play around with them and see what works better for you. So your starting position is the same, with the exception that you may be a little bit wider spread through the legs in order for the dumbbells to come through. So starting position, my weights are squeezed together. Now I execute it just like a kettlebell. I allow it to swing back, and I pop them forward. You can even separate them and let them swing apart, so you're not trying to press them together. What you have to watch out for is that you don't go too far, because you will slam your legs. So, moral of that story, if you don't have a kettlebell, you can stack your dumbbells to go a little bit heavier. Alrighty? Next one, our full range push-up. Just a review, in this group, we have people who can execute that full range push-up, chin or chest to the floor. It's fantastic. You guys are trying to work on increasing your number that you can do in a row, while other people are still trying to work on even doing a full one from the knees. So we all have our starting point, and we all have where we're working from. So just a reminder that they always start on your feet. Unless you have a shoulder injury, always start your push-ups on your feet. If you do not, they will never get stronger from your feet. So nice strong position. Going as far as I can before I have to drop my knees to keep my body straight. So from the top, abs are in nice and tight. Let's say I can get down to about here, and then my hips have to start going. Before my hips go, I'm gonna drop those knees, and then keep those hips up, all the way down. Same thing on the way back up. So I want my chest to come up first, abs squeeze in nice and tight, chest comes up as far as I can, and then when I can lift the knees up, they're gonna come up with me. Now, suppose from the bottom you cannot lift your chest up before, you can't lift your hips up before your chest. So if I'm here and I'm stuck, and I can't get my hips to come off the ground, pulling the abs in nice and tight, I'm gonna allow the chest to come up first, but as soon as I can pull those hips up, you wanna pull them up. All right? So our goal is always, how straight of a body can you keep? You're only doing 5, I believe, at a time on this workout. So please, please try your best to make sure that you are really pushing that range and working on that body line. Every time you focus on the body line, the core will get stronger, as well as the arms and shoulders. Now, that being said, if you can pop out 5 push-ups, touching your chin or chest to the floor in a straight body line, you need to add a variation. The variation for this week is to pick up a foot. So chest to the floor, back to the top, switch legs. Chest, back, switch legs. Alrighty guys, coming from there we have our reverse lunge, holding the stability ball. So as we move forward in our workouts, try to pay specific attention to the words that I use. So we did a stability ball reverse lunge last week, and that's the one with your foot on the ball, right? But this week, we have a reverse lunge holding the stability ball. All that means is we're getting a little bit of extra endurance work on the shoulders, balls out in front. We got soft bend in the elbows. I'm out there holding my beach ball. Abs in nice and strong. And it's just a quick alternating reverse lunge, trying to tap that back knee. All right? The whole reason the ball is there, as I said in the beginning, was to add a little bit of extra shoulder endurance. Make sure though that those shoulder blades are pulled down and back. So instead of this, those shoulders in the ears, you are here, shoulders pressed down and back. Alright guys, last one on our list here is our kettlebell squat, sumo squat, in a rack position. Remember that rack position refers to a position where the dumbbells or the kettlebells are racked up on top and they are lined up over the elbows. So, our kettlebell sumo squat in rack position, the kettlebell is going to come up in front, elbows are tucked into my rib cage, chin is up over the kettlebell, abs in tight, I have far wide feet because it's a sumo squat, pressing those knees and hips down, right back to the top. Drive those hips back, right back to the top. Suppose your kettlebell is too heavy to hold here, or dumbbells. Allow it to lower down. Just know that your range is more limited because your kettlebell is hanging. So you'll really have to focus on keeping that chest super tall so you can still get the hips nice and low. If you have dumbbells, it is the exact same position. Hands are high, feet are wide, squat, and return. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic workout, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Great job, everybody.